Hello dear students. We learn question tags in this episode. Turn page number 6 in your workbook. Dear students, in English, there are ways of asking questions. Questions demanding yes or no answers, like do you drink coffee? Are you not interested in online classes? What do you drink? WH questions. What are you interested in? And comes question tags. In this episode, we'll discuss this and solve the questions given to you in your workbook. What do question tags mean, and what do we use them for, and how do we use them? Basically, question tags turn the statement into a question by adding a tag at the end. The question tag is very short. We can see a couple of examples, then I'll explain further. You are here for the interview today. This is the statement. Aren't you? Question tag. You are here for the interview today. You are here for the interview today is a statement, and also it is called tag question. Aren't you is the question tag. Compare this sentence into another interrogative sentence demanding yes or no answer. Are you here for the interview? Yes or no? Yes, I am here for the interview. No, I am not. Let us see another statement. You haven't filled all the vacancies yet. Have you? You haven't filled all the vacancies yet is a statement or a tag question. Have you is nothing but a question tag. So let us see more. How do we make question tags? We saw question tags here already with a couple of examples. They are, you are here for the interview today, aren't you? You haven't filled all the vacancies yet, have you? These are the question tags. Are you, aren't you, have you, the question tags. Here a statement is made and a question is framed with a tag. A tag is added to make it a question. So how do we make question tags? The question tags are made based on the statement we have. A statement is turned into, changed into, or a tag is added into it to make it a question. We use question tags more often when we are speaking. We don't do that when we are writing. When you are writing, we ask WH questions most of the times, or questions demanding yes or no in case of conversations most of the times. Then how do we make question tags? We can see that question tags are either positive or negative. It can be anything. If the statement is positive, the tag is negative. This is what you need to remember in framing question tags. If the statement is positive, the tag is negative. If the statement is negative, then the question tag part is positive. Another thing you need to remember here is the subject. The subject of the statement always appears in the form of a pronoun with the question tag. Suppose Ramesh is there, then in a question tag, you have to substitute that with the pronoun he. Just like that. So, if the statement is positive, question tag is negative. If the statement is negative, question tag is positive. Let us see with the same examples we have seen before, or other examples. You can fill out the application form without any problem. This is the statement. You can. Look at the sentence, statement is positive. You can. That's the reason why question tag is negative. You can fill out the application form without any problem or problems, can't you? Can't you? So positive statement, negative question tag. Let us see another example. You haven't finished interviewing all the candidates, have you? You haven't suggests that it is a negative sentence, negative statement. So the tag question is positive. You haven't finished, have you? Is a question tag. So negative statement, positive question tag, positive statement, negative question tag. Third thing you need to remember. The first one, you need to remember the positive the statement, negative the question tag. Negative the statement, positive the question tag. The second thing you need to remember, subject. Subject has to be replaced with the appropriate pronoun. The third thing you need to remember is a verb in the sentence. If the main verb or main statement has an auxiliary verb, can, could, have, haven't, is, are, was, were, then the question tag is made with the same auxiliary verb. Can't you? Haven't you? So more examples we saw. Aren't you? Have you? You haven't filled all the vacancies yet. Have you? Have you is the question tag. Haven't is the statement negative. In the statement, you haven't filled is a negative statement. So have you is a positive question tag. So three things you need to remember. Statement, pronoun, and verb. Three things. So positive statements with the question tags. Let us see more examples. We are meeting this afternoon. We, subject, are auxiliary verb, meeting, main verb in progressive form. This afternoon. Aren't we? You know why aren't we? The statement is positive. We, the subject, are auxiliary verb. We must use the same auxiliary verb in framing questions. Positive statements with the question tags. We are meeting this afternoon, aren't we? You have prepared the spreadsheet, haven't you? You will be on time for the workshop, won't you? Will, won't. You can join us for the business lunch, can't you? This is going to change our products forever, isn't it? I told you, we must use the appropriate substitute, appropriate pronoun. So, for positive statement, Without auxiliary verbs, then how do we frame sentences? Or how do we frame question tags? In the sentences above all, we have auxiliary verb. Are, have, will, can, is. We are meeting. You have prepared. You will be on time. You can join. See, all these statements have auxiliary verb. Suppose there is no auxiliary verb, only main verb in the sentence or in the statement. Then how do we frame a question tag? The new bosses like the idea. The new boss likes or liked the idea. The new bosses like the idea. Let me keep it in the simple present only, not liked. Take sentence as it is there on the screen. Let us not change it. The new bosses like the idea. Like is the main verb here in the sentence. The new bosses is the subject. So there is no auxiliary verb here. You know how to frame a question tag in this case? Use do forms of the verbs. Do, does, did. You have to choose positive and negative, both. Don't, doesn't, didn't. Depending upon the subject. If the subject is plural, use do in a simple present. If the subject is singular, use does in a simple present. And did in the past tense. Didn't in the past tense. For example, the new bosses like the idea. Like is verb here in this statement. So, don't they? Why they? I told you, you have to replace it with the appropriate pronoun. The new bosses, plural, pronoun they is used. Don't they? He always gives me good presentation. Another example. He always gives a good presentation. Doesn't he? I told you, singular with a singular subject with only main verb in the sentence, use does or doesn't, depending upon the statement, whether it is positive or negative. He always gives is the main verb here. A good presentation. Doesn't he? All the interviewees arrived on time. All the interviewees arrived on time. What is the main verb here? Arrived. In what form is it? In past tense. Arrived. That's the reason why we use did. But here we used didn't. Why? All the interviewees arrived is a positive statement. That's the reason why didn't is used. Then what is the pronoun? They. Why? All the interviewees. They is a plural. For all the interviews, pronoun is used for the plural subject, all the interviewees. Okay? So, in the statements we have seen are all positive statements. So we made question tags with a negative question tags. Let us see negative statements and add question tags to them. The job situation isn't getting any better. The job situation isn't. Auxiliary verb isn't. I told you, you have to use the same auxiliary verb. Isn't, is it? Isn't, negative statement. Is it, positive question tag. We haven't had so many candidates interested before. We haven't had, haven't. Have we? Have we? Our new boss doesn't like to have fun. Doesn't. Question tag. Does he? Does she? I just can't get this presentation right. Can I? So, negative statement, positive question tag. So, be form of the verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had. Be forms of the verbs. We must use the same verbs in question tags. Matching with that. For example, more examples. She is qualified. Is auxiliary verb. Isn't she? Isn't she? Question tag. They were impressed by the sales figures. Weren't they? It isn't that difficult to understand. It isn't that difficult to understand. Is it? Is it? Because negative question, tag question, or a statement. So the positive question tag. We weren't ready for the tax increase. Were we? Weren't? Were we? So dear students, this is a simple thing that you must remember. Am and anti. When to use this? There is an exception here. There is a special case if the pronoun is I, we use. What do we use when the pronoun is I? So we use be form of the verb in the statement. The tag is made with am when the statement is negative. But when the statement is positive, the tag is made with the and. I am not the right person for the job. I am not. A negative statement. I am not. So the tag question tag is am I. The tag question, I am in the right building for the interview. I am in the right building for the interview. Anti. So negative form, in case of negative form, we use anti with the pronoun I. In case of a positive statement, we use, in case of negative sentence, we use am I. In case of a negative sentence or statement, we use anti. I'm sorry, let me correct. In case of positive sentence, I am in the right building, positive statement, correct. Anti is used. The negative statement, I am not the right person for the job, am I. Am I is used. So when do we use am I, anti? You must understand this much. So dear students, most of the times, as I said in the beginning, we use question tags in a spoken English rather than in a written form. Okay, let us go to your workbook activities now. Add question tags to the given statements. If you have the workbook in your hand, it will be better, easier for you to go through the exercises. On your mobile screen, the display may be small, that you may not see the text fully. First one, it is very cold. It is very cold. What is the question tag? It is a subject, is auxiliary verb, very cold. Isn't it? They did not help her. Negative statement. Did they? Question tag. You must remember one thing more. As you see in your workbook, it is very cold. After that, there is a comma. And then comes a question tag. We must write in the same way. Most of the students forget to put the question mark, punctuation at the end. So, Srujala is a sincere girl. Is a. Isn't she? Isn't she? Mrs. Patil donated generously. Donated, main verb is there. Then I told you what to do when you have main verb, not an auxiliary verb in the sentence. Use do form of the verb, but the appropriate form of the verb. Did is the appropriate form of the verb because donated is in the past tense. But did cannot be used here because it's a positive statement. So didn't she? Didn't she? They knew Mr. Suleiman. Knew. Didn't they? Dear students, likewise, there are about 15 question tags. I only attempted a few here to you. What you have to do, you fill in these question tags and snapshot it on your mobile and send it on a group so that we can see. I will give you the right answers and these right answers are there in the same PDF I am going to send you. You can also verify them after filling the blanks. Okay, this is going to be a short episode on question tags. It's a very small chapter for you. It is not in detail and there is nothing much to really know about it. And you must remember only these things. I repeat, positive the statement, negative the question tag, negative the statement, positive the question tag. You must adhere to, stick on to the auxiliary verb we have in the statement and use the same in the question tag. Number 3, you must use appropriate pronoun to substitute the subject we have in the statement. So 3 things you must remember. Only 3 things if you remember properly, correct sentences or question tags you can make. Okay, see you then in our next episode. Bye bye.